Welcome to the Learn QuickBooks tutorial on upgrading to QuickBooks 2021 version. Hi, I am Juliana. I will walk you through this course. The calendar dates have changed, and so have the prospects of accounting with the help of QuickBooks desktop version. The new 2021 version promises a lot more additions and features that will help you do accounting at a much faster pace. But how do you download the latest version of the QuickBooks onto your computers? We'll be answering this precise question in this video. To download the latest version of QuickBooks Desktop, you can simply open the internet browser of your choice and type downloads.quickbooks.com/products. Press enter. This new screen shows a question that you might need to answer. Select your appropriate option. Click Next. Then select Yes as an option. Make your choices for the country version. Choose one of the different versions that are available from the drop-down. QuickBooks Desktop now offers 6 premier versions: QuickBooks Desktop Pro, QuickBooks Desktop Premier, QuickBooks Accountant, QuickBooks Desktop Enterprise, QuickBooks Mac Desktop, QuickBooks Point of Sale. Select the version here. Here you will see numbers ranging from 12 to 21. Select 21, as that is the latest version. Select Search. On the new screen, you will find 3 numbered sections. In the first section, it is the product and its selection for a download. On the new screen, you will find 3 numbered sections. In the first section, it is the product and its selection for a download. The second section has a detailed video from the company about the installation of the product. We at Learn QuickBooks can also help you with the same in our next video. The third section talks about the ways to activate the QuickBooks desktop version. A similar video is also there on our playlist. Please refer to that. Now scroll up. Select the drop-down arrow to choose the type of version specifications. Now you will see an automatic download of the software. Once the download finishes, open and run the file as administrator. Follow the on-screen instructions carefully to install the desktop version of your choice. This is how you should ideally download to upgrade the QuickBooks version. Hope you like the video. Please subscribe to our channel for more such informative videos. Click the link for a detailed
shortcuts. You can also customize the accounts you want to view in the Balances tab here.
location.
company file from a local backup copy. Select File, Backup Company, Restore Previous Local Backup from the menu bar. Then select the name of the desired local backup file to use from the side menu of choices that appears. Use the Save Company File As dialog box that appears to navigate to and select the corrupted company file to overwrite the
Options.
copy you just selected. After selecting the company file to overwrite, click the Save button to continue. its display, select the name of the account. Click the Account button in the lower left corner of the list window, and then select the
Gens.
check the Default Shipping Address checkbox of the address you want to set as the default shipping address. When you are ready to save the shipping address, click the OK button. To continue entering customer information, click the Payment Settings tab at the left side of the new customer window. Enter the account number assigned to this customer, if you use account numbers, into the Account Number field. To assign a credit limit to this customer, enter their credit limit amount into the Credit Limit field. Select a default delivery method for customer forms from the Preferred Delivery Method drop-down.
Options.
Preferred payment method that they use. You can select the name of the payment method from the Preferred Payment Method drop-down. If you accept online payments, you can check the methods of online payments you accept within the Online Payments section. The checkbox choices include credit card, ACH. If you process payments for customer credit card, you can enter the customer's card number, expiry date, name of the card, address, and the signature line within the credit card information section. After finishing this tab, click the Sales Tax Settings tab on the left side of the window. Use the Tax Code drop-down to choose whether the selected customer is taxable or non-taxable. If the customer is a taxable customer, choose the sales tax to apply to their purchases from the Tax Item drop-down. If the customer has a resale number for use, enter it into the Resale Number text box. After entering the customer's sales tax information, click the Additional Info tab at the left side of the new customer window to continue. Enter a customer type into the Customer Type field, or select a previous entry you have made from the Fields drop-down list. Use the Wrap drop-down to assign your sales tax to the customer. Period. Next tab, enter any amount into the customer's custom field. If creating a new customer, then you will fill out the payment address. Select the customer to edit. Either double-click the name of the customer in the Customers and Jobs tab, click the Edit button at the right end of the Customer Information section to the right, or right-click the customer name in the Customers and Jobs tab, and select the Edit Customer Job command from the pop-up menu that appears to open the Edit Customer window. Click the OK button to save your changes and close the window when you are finished. To delete a customer record that you do not use and no longer need, select the entry to delete from the Customers and Jobs list. Select Edit, Delete Customer Job from the menu bar. Click the OK button in the confirmation message box that appears to delete the selected entry. employee as a regular or W-2 employee, a statutory or 1099 employee, or an officer or owner. You can use the full or part-time, exempt, and key employee drop-downs to select whether the employee is full or part-time. If the employee takes a leave of absence, click the Leave of Absence tab to enter the information about it. Enter the start date, expected return date, and actual return date into the fields in the Leave Dates section to record that information when it occurs. Under the Leave Details section, use the Type and Reason fields to record the type of leave of absence and the reason for it. In the Leave Pay section, use the Leave Paid dropdown to select inventory-related features in your QuickBooks company file. Set any additional default settings needed for inventory and items. Click OK to set your default inventory preferences. Creating a new inventory part item within the item list. To create a new inventory item, open the item list by selecting Lists, Item List from the menu bar. Click the Item button in the lower left corner of the Item List window, and then select the New command from the pop-up menu to open the new item window. Select Inventory Part from the Type drop-down at the top of the window with the list that appears automatically when you open it. Enter the part name or number for the inventory item into the item name or number field. If the item that you are creating is a sub-item of another larger item category, check the sub-item called checkbox, and then select the name of the item which this item will be a sub-item of the adjacent directory. Enter the manufacturer's part number and the fields to the manufacturer's part number. In the purchase information section, enter the description that you want to have for your purchase orders within the description of the transactions.
Edits.
The cost of the item into the cost field. Select the cost of goods sold amount used to track the cost of purchasing the item or cost of If you have a preferred vendor for this item, select the name of the vendor from the preferred vendor drop-down field. In the sales information section, enter the description of the item as you want it to appear within your sales forms into the description on sales transactions field. Enter the default sales price into the sales price field. Select the tax code used by the item from the tax code drop-down menu. Enter the account used to track the amount of income generated by the sale of this item from the income drop-down menu. In the income drop-down section, select the asset that are used to track the value of the item. From the asset drop-down menu, enter the quantity that you want to reorder this item into the reorder menu. Enter the total quantity as of the start date into the reorder menu. Then enter the total value of the quantity into the reorder menu. Then select the start date of the file from the As Of field. Once you have finished creating the inventory part item, click the OK button to save the item. Creating a purchase order. To create a purchase order, select Vendors, Create Purchase Orders from the menu bar. Select a vendor from the vendor drop-down at the top of the window to fill in the vendor's data in the form. Enter the date of the purchase order into the Date field. The next available purchase order number will appear within the PO number field. If you have multiple shipping addresses, use the Shipped To drop-down field.
Versions.
Name of the shipping address.
Versions.
Items shipped. To use a custom purchase order template, select the template name from the Template drop-down. Enter all the details here. Enter the number of items. The amount shown will be calculated by multiplying the quantity and the rate fields. To enter a message, type the message into the Vendor Message field. You can enter a memo into the Memo field if needed. Click the Save and Close button to save the purchase order and close the window, or click the Save and New button to save the
QuickBooks Versions.
purchase order. Save and Close or Save and New button to finish. Creating an invoice from an estimate. To create an invoice from an estimate, open the Create Invoices window by selecting Customers, Create Invoices from the menu bar. Select the job for which you have created an estimate from the Customer Job drop-down field. In the Available Estimates window, select the estimate from which you want to create the invoice. Click the OK button to continue. In the Create Progress Invoice Based on Estimate window that appears, select the option button for the invoicing option that you want to use for the invoice. You can select either Create Invoice for the entire estimate or 100%, Create Invoice for a percentage of the entire estimate, or Create Invoice for selected items or for different percentages of each item. If you select the first option, click the OK button to transfer all of the items from the estimate to the invoice. Double-check the change in information as needed within the invoice. Clicking the Save Changes, Save Changes. Updating the job status. To update the status of a job, open the customer side. Double-click the job entry name in the Customers and Jobs list, or select the job field, and then selecting Edit Customer Job from the menu bar to open the Edit Job. Select the job from the tab. Use the Job Status drop-down to change the job status. Click the OK button to save your changes. Inactivating an estimate. To inactivate an existing estimate, display the estimates to inactivate within the Estimates window. Click
Options.
the button within the main tab of the ribbon at the top of the window. Click the Save and Close button to save your changes and close the window.
Options.
Making purchases with shares. To record purchases from the job, open the desired purchase field, such as create purchase orders, open the bill, write checks, or enter credit card charges window. Enter the vendor type. Enter the first item or the expense line item in this area. Read line item. Use the drop-down in the customer job column to select the name of the customer job or to bill the customer costs later. Ensure there is a check mark within the billable column for the same line item. To make the line item non-billable if only recording job cost information and not billing the cost to the customer, click the line item's billable checkbox to remove the check from the checkbox. You can then save and close the form as normal. Invoicing for job costs. To invoice for recorded job costs, select Customers, Create Invoices from the menu bar. Use the Customer Job drop-down to select the customer job to which you have assigned job costs. In the Billable Time or Costs window that appears, to enter the billable costs, you can click the Select the Outstanding Billable Time and Costs to add to this invoice option button, and then click the OK button to continue and open the Choose Billable Time and Costs window. Note that even if you select not to bill the time and costs at this moment, you can later click the Add Time or Costs button that appears within the main tab of the ribbon at the top of the invoice to open the Choose Billable Time and Costs window. In the Choose Billable Time and Costs window, click the Expenses and Items tabs as needed to display the outstanding expenses recorded and items purchased for the selected customer job. Select the expenses to bill to the customer by clicking the leftmost column sales form. To create an invoice for a customer, select Customers, Create Invoices from the menu bar. To create a sales receipt, select Customers, enter sales receipts from the menu bar. Creating an invoice. To create an invoice, select Customers, Create Invoices from the menu bar. To select the specific invoice form to use for the transaction, make a choice from the Template drop-down in the upper right corner of the invoice form. Enter customer information and other important details. Select the invoice date from the Date field. The invoice number field automatically increments itself up to the next available invoice number. At the bottom of the invoice, enter each item purchased on its own line by selecting a choice from the Item column in the first available row within the line item area. The items that appear in the drop-down list are saved within the item list. Add the quantity and rate for each line item. To print the invoice later, check the Print Later checkbox in the Main tab of the ribbon. To save the invoice, either click the Save and Close button to save it and close the window, or click the Save and New button to save it and leave the window open to continue creating invoices. You can click the See History link that appears next to the invoice title within Saved Invoices to show a small invoice history window that shows the history of the invoice. After you create an invoice, QuickBooks places a record for the invoice into the Accounts Receivable account. Creating batch invoices. To check your default preferences for sending forms before creating batch invoices, select Edit, Preferences from the menu bar. Select the Send Forms icon in the list at the left side of the Preferences dialog box that appears. In the My Preferences tab to the right, ensure that the Auto-Check the Email Later checkbox if customer's preferred delivery method is email checkbox is checked. Click the OK button. To create batch invoices, select Customers, Create Batch Invoices from the menu bar. Click the OK button in the message box that appears if needed. In the Batch Invoice window, select the customers for whom you want to create batch invoices. To create a one-time batch invoice for customers, select the names of the customers or customer jobs from the left list and click the Add button to move them into the list at the right side of the dialog box. To instead create a billing group of customers to effectively select a list of customers for whom you may send out regular batch invoices in the future, type a name for the group of customers into the Name field and click the Save button to create the group in the right list. Then, select the names of the customers or customer jobs to add to the group from the left list and click the Add button to add them into the group at the right side of the window. When finished, click the Save Group button below the right list to save the customers into the billing group you created. In the future, you will be able to select the name of the billing group you created from the Billing Group drop-down to automatically select those customers in the group when creating batch invoices. You can also select customers in a billing group and click the Remove button to remove them from the list. Be sure to click the Save Group button again after doing this to save the changes to the group. To manage the groups you have created, click the Manage Groups button in the upper right corner of the window to open the Manage Billing Groups window. Select the name of the billing group in the left list to manage first. To rename the group, type a new name into the Billing Group field to the right, and then click the Save button below the field. To delete the billing group, click the Delete button below the Billing Group field, and then click the Yes button in the confirmation message box that appears. You can click the Close button in the Manage Billing Groups dialog box to close it and return to the Batch Invoice window when finished. After selecting the customers to batch invoice, click the Next button at the bottom of the window to continue. In this screen, enter the invoice date into the Date field and, if needed, select the invoice template to use from the Template dropdown. Enter the line items along with rate, quantities, and other details. When finished, click the Next button to continue. In the last screen, if there is an customer invoice you do not want to create, you can click into the leftmost Select column to remove the check mark from that row and skip creating an invoice for that customer. In the Batch Invoice Summary dialog box that appears, you can see the summary of the invoices that were
Versions.
by Send method. To batch print the invoices from this batch group, click the Print button in this dialog box. To batch email the invoices from the batch group, click the Email button. Sales receipt, select Customers, enter sales receipts from the menu bar. To select which sales receipt template to use, choose one from the Template dropdown in the upper right corner of the form. Enter the customer's information into the sales receipt. Enter the date of the sale by selecting it from the Date field. The sale number field will automatically increment itself up to the next available sales receipt number. Click the button in the upper left corner of the form that corresponds to the method of payment used. To view additional payment methods, click the drop-down arrow that appears in the lower right corner of this button group to view additional payment methods in a drop-down menu. Then click the Done button in the drop-down menu to record the credit card information. If they pay by check, enter the check number into the Check Number field at the right side of the sales receipt window. Enter the quantity and rate or amount for each item. If this receipt is to be printed later, ensure that the Print Later checkbox in the main tab of the ribbon at the top of the window is checked. When finished, click the Save and Close button to save the sales receipt and close the window. Before creating batch invoices, select Edit, Preferences from the menu bar. Select the Send Forms icon in the list at the left side of the Preferences dialog box that appears. In the My Preferences tab to the right, ensure that the Auto Check the the Email Later checkbox if customer's preferred delivery method is email checkbox is checked. Click the OK button. To create batch invoices, select Customers, Create Batch Invoices from the menu bar. Click the OK button in the message box that appears if needed. In the Batch Invoice window, select the customers for whom you want to create batch invoices. To create a one-time batch invoice for customers, select the names of the customers or customer jobs from the left list, and click the Add button to move them into the list at the right side of the dialog box. To instead create a billing group of customers to effectively select these customers for whom you may send out regular batch invoices in the future, type the name of the customer's name to the name field, and click the Save button to create a group of documents. Then, select the names of customers or customer jobs and add to the group from the left list, and click the Add button to add them to the group on the right side of the group. When finished, click the Save button below the right list to save the customers into the billing group. In the future, you will be able to select the name of the billing group you created from the Billing Group drop-down to automatically select those customers in the group when creating batch invoices. You can also select customers in a billing group and click the Remove button to remove them from the list. Be sure to click the Save Group button again after doing this to save the changes to the group. To manage the groups you have created, click the Manage Groups button in the upper right corner of the window to open the Manage Billing Groups window. Select the name of the billing group on the list to manage first. To review the group, type the name to remove the changes to the record, and then click the Save button in the field. To delete the billing group, click the Delete button in the field, then click the Yes button in the Operations and Policy windows. You can edit or close them in the Manage Billing Groups dialog box to close it and return to the Batch Invoice window. After selecting the customers to batch invoice, click the Next button at the bottom of the window to continue. In this screen, enter the invoice date into the Date field, and, if needed, select the invoice template to use from the Template drop-down. Enter the line items along with rate, quantities, and other details. When finished, click the Next button to continue. In the last screen, if there is an customer invoice you do not want to create, you can click into the leftmost Select column to remove the check mark from that row and skip creating an invoice for that customer. In the Batch Invoice Summary dialog box that appears, you can see the summary of the invoices that were
Versions.
to by send method. To batch print the invoices from this batch group, click the Print button in this dialog box. To batch email the invoices from the batch group, click the Email button. enter the check number into the check number field at the right side of the sales receipt window. Enter the quantity and rate or amount for each item. If this receipt is to be printed later, ensure that the Print Later checkbox in the main tab of the ribbon at the top of the window is checked. When finished, click the Save and Close button to save the sales receipt and close the window. Setting finance charge preferences. save the transaction, but leave the Receive Payments window open. Processing tutorial. Recording of full payment. To record a full customer select the customer or customer job from whom you are receiving the payment from the Received From drop-down in the Receive Payments window. Select the date the payment was received from the Date Calendar selector. Enter the payment amount into the Payment Method field. Click the Payment Method button in the window that corresponds to the method of payment received. You can then select the additional Click the Payment Method button in the window that corresponds to the method of payment received. If needed, you can click the drop-down arrow that appears in the lower right corner of this button group to view additional payment methods in a drop-down menu. You can then select the additional payment methods from this drop-down. For credit or debit payments, you can select a credit card type from the payment drop-down and enter the credit card number and expiration date into the card number and expiration date fields shown in the drop-down menu that appears when you click the credit or debit payment button. Then click the Done button in the drop-down menu to record this credit card information. If they pay by check, enter the check number into the check number field. QuickBooks will automatically apply the single payment against the outstanding invoice If you select the Refund the Amount to the Customer option button, you can create a refund check for the customer when you save this transaction. Click the Save and Close button to save and close the Receive Payments window, or click the Save and New button to save the transaction, but leave the Receive Payments window open. Using Price Levels tutorials. Select Lists, Price Level List from the menu bar. Click the Price Level button in the lower left corner of the list, and click the New button. In the New Price Level window, type Contract into the Price Level name text box. Select Decrease from the drop-down available. In the Percentage text box, type the percentage. Click the OK button to save the price level. Close the price level list. Open the Customers and Jobs tab within the Customer Center. Double-click on Cook Brian to edit the customer's information. Click the Payment Settings tab and select Contract from the price level drop-down in the upper right corner of the tab. Click the OK button to save the changes. Select Customers, create Invoice Credits window, select the Credits tab to view any available customer credits. To apply the entire credit, click the checkmark column next to the credit in the Available Credits section. The amount of credit to apply to the invoice will be displayed in the Amount to Use column in this window. To apply a partial credit amount, change the amount of credit applied by changing the amount shown in the Amount to Use column. Click the Done button to apply the credit amount to the selected invoice. Continue receiving the customer payment within the Receive Payments window as needed. The amount of credit applied to the invoice will appear in the Credits column at the bottom of the window. Click the Save and Close button to save and close the Receive Payments window, or click the Save and New button to save the transaction, but leave the Receive Payments window open. Transfer credits between jobs for a customer in QuickBooks Desktop Pro 2019 or later. Open the invoice to which you are transferring the existing job credit. Click the Apply Credits button in the Main tab of the ribbon at the top of the invoice window to open the Apply Credits window. In the Apply Credits window, the credits from the other job appear. Ensure the credit is selected and that the amount to apply is shown in the Amount to Apply column is correct. Then click the Done button in the Apply Credits window. Then click the Yes button in the Confirm Transfer window that appears to finish.
Handling credits. Creation.
Save and print the check and give it to the customer. Return to the Receive Payments window by selecting Customer Receive Payments from the menu bar. Select the name of the customer or customer job from the Received From dropdown. In the listing, you should see the refund check that you just wrote listed. Select the check in the list, but do not mark it with a check mark by clicking into the check mark column to the left of the check. You can click into any of the other columns to simply select and highlight the line item. Click the Discounts and Credits button that appears in the main tab of the ribbon at the top of the window. If the Discounts and Credits window select the Credits tab in the Discount and Credits window. If the Apply Credits window opens instead, then the credit should appear on the Credits tab in this window. In either window, if needed, you can click into the leftmost check mark column next to the credit that matches the refund check amount to select checks. Click the Done button to apply the credit to the check. You can then click the Save Close button to finish the transaction. My Credits window opens instead, then the credit should appear on the Credits tab in this window. In either window, if needed, you can click into the leftmost check mark column next to the credit that matches the refund check amount to select checks. Click the Done button to apply the credit to the check. You can then click the Save Close button to finish the transaction. Using bank accounts tutorial. Using account registers. To use an account register, ensure you do not have any screens open in QuickBooks. Select the bank Use register from the menu. Double-click Use register. Use the selected to choose the desired field. Click the OK button to continue to register. To report a future payment or request, use the next available Select the appropriate checking account from the bank account drop-down at the top of this window. If recording a check you have already written or recording an electronic withdrawal, enter the check number that was issued into the number field. To print this check at a later point in time, check the Print Later checkbox that appears in the main tab of the ribbon at the top of the window. Enter the date of the check into the Date field, or select the date from the field's Calendar Date selector. Select the name of the payee from the Pay to the Order of dropdown. Enter the amount of the check into the dollar field. On the Expenses tab, select the first account to which you want to attribute the total check amount from the first row in the Account column. QuickBooks will attribute the entire check amount to that account, shown in the Amount column. To split the total check amount to multiple accounts, change the amount in the Amount column in the first row to indicate how much of the total check amount to attribute to the selected account. Repeat the process of selecting the next account from the next available row under the Account column and entering the amount to attribute. transfer the funds into by using the Transfer Funds To drop-down. Enter the amount of the transfer into the Transfer Amount field. Click the Save and Close button to record the funds transfer and close the window. Voiding checks. To void a check, open the check to void and display it in the Write Checks window. Select Edit, Void Check from the menu bar to void the check displayed in the Write Checks window. When you click either the Save button in the main tab of the ribbon at the top of the Write Checks window, or click the Save and Close button at the bottom of the window to save the changes to the check. Carefully read and then correctly respond to the question posed by QuickBooks in this message box to finish voiding the check. Select the account used to track vendor discounts and credits. After setting the desired billing preferences, click the OK button to apply them. Entering a bill. To enter bills, select Vendors, Enter Bills from the menu bar to open the Enter Bills window. Notice the Bill Received checkbox at the top of the window has a check mark within it by default. When entering a bill, select the name of the vendor that sent the bill from the vendor dropdown. Enter the date on which you received the bill. Enter the bill's number in the field. Enter the amount of the bill. Enter due date in Bill Due field. Click down into the next row under the Account bar and select the next account affected by the bill amount and enter the amount to attribute to the second account into the adjacent amount. click the Pay Selected Bills button to pay the checked bills in this window. Manually taking an early bill payment discount. To manually take an early bill payment discount, select Vendors, Pay Bills from the menu bar to open the Pay Bills window. At the top of the Pay Bills window, select either the option button to show bills due on or before a date you select, or to show all bills. Click to place a check mark in front of the bill you want to pay early in order to take a discount. Click the Set Discount button if you can receive a discount for early payment from the vendor. QuickBooks will display the Discount and Credits window showing the discount amount. Select the discount account you use to track the amount of early payment discounts. Click the Done button to close the Discount and Credits window. In the Payment section of the Pay Bills window, ensure the correct payment date appears in the Date field. Use the Method drop-down to select the desired method. If you select a check, then select the To Be Printed or Assign Check number option. If you select the To Be Printed option button, the check is for the assigned check number. If you select the Assign Check number option, enter the starting check number. If paying by check, select the amount of the funds to pay the check bill by choosing the desired amount from the Account drop-down. If you select credit card as the payment method, use the adjacent Account drop-down to select the credit card account to which you want to apply as bill payment. When finished, click the Pay Selected Bills button to pay the check bill in this window. Entering a vendor credit. To enter a vendor credit, open the Enter Bills window by selecting Vendors, Enter Bills from the menu bar. Select the option button for Credit and Checks. Ensure you see the vendor credit appear. Select the rate or location of credit fee. Enter the date you received the credit and the date you have received it. Enter the associated credit number into the reference field. Enter the amount of credit into the credit limit. Select the checking account that has the greatest expenses or credit. Click the Save Bills button to save the credit. Manually applying a vendor credit. To manually apply a vendor credit, select Vendors, Pay Bills from the menu bar to open the Pay Bills window. At the top of the Pay Bills window, select either the option button to show bills due on or before a date you select, or to show all bills. Click to place a check mark to the left of the bill to which you want to apply your vendor credit. Click the Set Credits button. The Discount and Credits window will display the credit amount in the Credits tab. To use only a portion of the credit if needed, type the amount to apply within the Amount to Use column. Click the Done button to close the Discount and Credits window. In the Payment section of the Pay Bills window, ensure you have the correct payment date entered into the Date field. Use the Method drop-down to select the desired method of payment for the bill. If you select Check from this drop-down, you must select either the To Be Printed or Assign Check Number option button. If you select the To Be Printed option button, the check will be assigned a check number later when you print it. If you select the Assign Check Number option, enter the starting check number into the adjacent field. If paying by check, select the account from which the funds to pay the check bill will be withdrawn by choosing the desired account from the Account drop-down. If you select credit card as the payment method, use the adjacent Account pay sales tax, select Vendors, Sales Tax, Pay Sales Tax from the menu bar. Use the Pay from Account drop-down to select the bank account to use for the sales tax payments. Enter the date to print on the checks into the check date field. Use the Show Sales Tax Due Through Calendar selector to select the date through which you need to pay collected sales tax. If the checks are to be printed, check the To Be Printed checkbox at the bottom of this window. Otherwise, uncheck the box and enter the starting number of the check issued into the starting check number field. The list of taxing agencies to whom you owe tax will be displayed in the Pay Sales Tax window. Select which agencies to pay by clicking into the Pay column to the left of the agencies. Click the OK button to have QuickBooks automatically create the tax payment checks. To adjust the sales tax owed, select the tax adjustment and click the Adjust button. In the sales tax adjustment window, enter a date for the adjustment into the adjustment date field. Enter the number of the adjustment entry into the entry field. Select the sales tax amount that you need to adjust by selecting the name of the sales tax payment. Select the account date to track the adjustment from the adjustment account drop-down. In the adjustment section, select either the Increase Sales Tax by or Reduce Sales Tax by option button as appropriate. Enter the amount of the adjustment into the Amount field. To add the adjustment into the Pay Sales Tax window so you can select if the payment along with the original entry fee is delayed, click the OK button. Select both the original entry and the adjustment within the Pay Sales Tax window. Click the OK button to automatically create the sales tax payment checks. Use QuickBooks to subjects, checks, financial, income, and expense graph from the menu bar. Dates graph. Use the Brand Dates drop-down to select the certain dates. Click the OK button. Click the Apply Custom Bar Price to the bar to view the payment on the customer. In the Show All Time Chart section at the bottom of the graph, use QuickBooks to double-click the Income column within the bar graph for a month to view the income summary for that month in a separate graph window. Close the Income Summary graph window that you just opened. Click the X in the upper right corner of the Income and Expense graph window to close it. You can close the company file by selecting File, Close Company from the menu bar. You can close QuickBooks by selecting File, Exit from the menu bar. Reporting tutorial. To pay sales tax. To pay sales tax, select Vendors, Sales Tax, Pay Sales Tax from the menu bar. Use the Pay from Account drop-down to select the bank account to
Gens, 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 gens.
date field. Use the Show Sales Tax Due Through Calendar selector to select the date through which you need to pay collected sales tax. If the checks are to be printed, check the To Be Printed checkbox at the bottom of this window. Otherwise, uncheck the box and enter the starting number of the check issued into the starting check number field. The list of taxing agencies to whom you owe tax will be displayed in the Pay Sales Tax window. Select which agencies to pay by clicking into the Pay column to the left of the agencies. Click the OK button to have QuickBooks automatically create the tax payment checks. To adjust the sales tax To modify a report based on a preset report, open the desired preset. Click the Customize Report button in the toolbar at the top of the preset report to open the Modify Report dialog box. To create a new transaction detail or summary report from scratch, select Reports, Custom Reports from the menu bar, and then choose Transaction Detail or Summary from the side menu that appears to open the Modify Report dialog box. In the Modify Report dialog box, you will see the Display, Filters, Header or Footer, and Fonts and Numbers tabs. If you click the Display tab, you will see slightly different options depending on the type of report you are creating, transaction detail, or summary. For both types of reports, in the Report Date Range section, you can use the Dates drop-down to select a commonly used report date range. You can use the From and to Date selectors to specify starting date and ending date for the previous date. For both reports, choose how the report calculates displays income expenses by choosing either Calendar or Cash from the Report Basis section if available available. If you are creating a modified transaction detail report, then in the Invoices section, click the name of the invoice shown on the screen first, place a check mark next to it, and add that column to the report. If you are creating or modifying a summary report, choose what type of data to display in the report columns by making a selection from the Display Columns by drop-down. Choose the values to summarize in the rows by making a choice from the Display Rows by drop-down. You can select to display columns for the amount, quantity, or row by selecting an option button below the Display Columns for drop-down. You can choose how to sort the data by making a selection from the Sort by drop-down. You can then select to either put one and a section or the same sort columns data by making a choice from the Sort by option button. For some types of report date ranges, you can also add comparison subcolumns to the report, which can enhance the character boxes shown and add subcolumns for the section. The choices vary depending on the data type each sort report. Select check boxes shown to add those summary subcolumns to the report if desired. If needed, you can click the Advanced button to open the Advanced Options dialog box. For summary reports, you can choose what records to use in the report by making your choice from the Display Rows and Display Columns sections. You can then choose the reporting period to use for your data from the Reporting Calendar section. Your choices are fiscal year, calendar year, or income tax year. Once you have set any advanced options within the Advanced Options dialog box, click the OK button to apply them and return to the Display tab within the Modify Report window. For both transaction detail and summary reports, click the Filters tab within the Modify Report window. If the report you are modifying already has filters applied, you will see the current filters and their settings shown in the Current Filter Choices section of the Filters tab. You can click any filter shown in this list to view its settings to the left within the Choose Filter section 30. In the Choose Filter section, you can change the settings of the filter by using the options available. You can add new filters to the report by selecting the name of the filter to apply from the Choose Filter list, and then changing its settings as desired. To read more about how a filter that you have selected can be applied, click the Tell Me More button at the bottom of the tab to open a help file about the currently selected filter. To completely remove a filter that has been applied to the report, start When the report appears on screen, you can modify some report settings using the toolbar at the top of the report. To switch the report basis, if that setting is available for the report and shown towards the upper left corner of the report's preview. To show the report's other applied filter settings, click the Show Filters link towards the upper left corner of the report. Then click one of the filters in this section to open the Filters tab of the Modify Report dialog box and select the filter. You can then change its settings and click the OK button in the dialog box to change the applied filter. To remove a filter from this section of the report, click the X at the right end of the filter. To hide the applied filters when finished, click the Hide Filters link towards the upper left corner of the report. Rearranging and resizing report columns. To rearrange the order of columns from left to right in any transaction detail report in QuickBooks, display the transaction detail report whose columns you want to rearrange on screen. For the column place your mouse pointer over the column name shown in the column headings of the report until you see the mouse pointer change into a table. Click and drag the column to the left of the report. As you are dragging the column, you will see a small button with an empty red arrow in the middle of the column names. This arrow indicates where the column will be placed when you release the mouse button. When it is in the desired location, release the mouse button to move the column to the selected location. To resize columns in any type of QuickBooks report, place your mouse pointer to the right of the name of the column you want to resize until the mouse pointer changes into a thin vertical line intersected by a horizontal arrow. At that point, click and drag left or right with your mouse pointer to resize the column. Release the mouse button when the column is the size you desire. To collapse or expand all column groups in the report, if available, click the Collapse Columns or Expand Columns button in the report section. Memorize a report. To memorize a modified report, click the Memorize button located at the top of the report to open the Memorize Report dialog box. Type in the name of the report into the report. If you want to save the entire report to the report, check Change Report, Save Prepayments, and then change the exact date to save pages of the report. When you are finished saving the report, click the OK button to save it. Creating and using memorized report groups. To create a new memorized report group, select Reports, Memorized Report List from the menu bar. In the Memorized Report List window, click the Memorized Report button and select New Group from the pop-up menu that appears. In the Name field of the New Memorized Report Group window, type a name for the new report group and click the OK button to have QuickBooks add this memorized report group to the list. Exporting a report to Microsoft Excel. To export a report to Excel, open the report to export to Excel. Click the Excel button in the toolbar at the top of the report. Select either the Create New Worksheet or Update Existing Worksheet commands from the drop-down menu that appears. In the Send Report to Excel dialog box, select the desired option button to choose how to send the data to Excel. You can click the Advanced button to open the Advanced Excel Options dialog box, where you can enable or disable several Excel options. After setting any advanced options, click the OK button to return to the Send Report to Excel dialog box. Click the Export button to export the report data to Excel using the method you selected. Schedule reports. To create scheduled reports, me 4 hours before sending this email checkbox. A summary of your send options is shown at the bottom of this screen for you to review for accuracy. When you are ready, click the Next button to continue. In the Compose email screen, enter the email addresses of the recipients into the To field separated by semicolons. To enter a different subject line for the email, change the text in the subject field. The attachment